was a coming together that was sure not to be a meeting of minds. Since 2004, the rugby union teams of Kenya and Uganda have vied for the Elgon Cup. With 8 titles to their name, there is no doubt as to which team has a spring in its step. Would they be knocked off their feet this time round? A litany of first-half schoolboy errors barely helped matters. It certainly made for painful viewing. A dark cloud had descended on Legends Rugby Club. A consoling hug, a pat on the cheek, nothing seemed to take the pain away.
Honestly, first up, I think it was just a little bit of nerves. Very many rookies on the team, new guys, so there's that bit of nerve.
After the break, Kenya didn't know what had hit them. They desperately tried to get back to their feet, but such was the sheer strength of the hit that their defenses caved in.
We had a slow start in the second half, carrying on with 2 yellow cards.
The spectacular second-half collapse continued with the record winners conceding a penalty try. When proceedings ended, it was joy unconfined for Uganda. Kenya, on its part, was left on its bruised knees. With pride restored, monetary tokens were quick to come in. It felt good pocketing the money, but nothing compared to lifting the trophy for only the 3rd time. The year that the Elgon Cup returned, Robert, was it a long time coming?
Yes, it was, Joel, a long time coming. Certainly, Kenya has dominated this tournament. They have 8 titles to their name. That was just Uganda's 3rd title, and boy, did they have to work for it. After losing the first leg 2017 in Nairobi, they had a hideous first half. What did you make of that first half?
I heard one of the Kenyans saying that, Uganda are our customers, and that really, it was a good win. I felt good when we won, because they had a habit of coming here and, just taking it away from us.
Yes, in that piece we just saw Michael Korach there patting the wing, that's Eric Kasita of Buffaloes, who had the hideous game. He needed that pat on the back. Very uncomfortable under the high ball. That first half, it looked like things were going south for Uganda. I don't know what the coach, John Duncan, told them at the turn of, at the break, that is, because they came out, they were different animals. They started off by getting that try, very crucial try from the Cobs fullback, Joseph Aredo. And it just breathed life into the team.
Definitely, Robert. And they had the hunger, I think, in the second half, because at one point you would think that probably they were not really going to nick it, but when they came out in the second half and it was a whole different ball game, and they went on and just floored Kenya and retained the cup. Amazing. I think that was my highlight. The rugby season.
And just to rub it in, the fact that a Kenyan-born player, that's Scott Oloch.
Scott Oloch, who caused havoc for the Kenya team.
Lots of havoc. But before, we get over ourselves, let's not forget the fact that this was the Kenya A side. Do you think this kind of brings us down to earth? Okay,
because the argument was with people, that Kenya didn't bring their A team. Yeah. They brought probably second string side. For me, it doesn't change anything, because you have to take the competition seriously at the end of the day. And if you beat Kenya, you beat Kenya, hands down. You retain the Elgon Cup. The cup won't be deemed less of what it's worth if you bring a second string side. And to me, that is, there's no argument there. We beat Kenya, we beat them hands down.
Yeah. And Joel, later in July that year, we did. Or should I say this year in July, we did play in the Tier 1A Rugby Afrique tournament. There are a number of teams there that we played, but for me, the opening game against Ivory Coast, where we took them to school, beat them,
was the masterclass.
11. It was something else. Played on a Sunday under atrocious conditions. The sun was out, but the boys came out and played the running game. It was a game that I'll cling on to for until I go to my club.
And just to add on that, you know, the teams that came, Madagascar, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Mauritius.
Botswana.
If you looked at the conditioning of the players and their sizes, you would think twice about, you know, Uganda getting, you know, victory over some of these sides, but they went on and they did it, which was good for the boys.
It was very good there. They beat Mauritius 35-11, and they wrapped up the tournament by beating Botswana 59-10. Michael Korach there was he said he was playing, you know, this game for the victims who perished during those July
bombings.
Yeah, the July bombings at Chadondo, and what a masterclass he put on, you know, tearing through the Botswana defense like a knife through butter.
Of course, a masterclass it was, but I'll tell you what, Uganda also played in the annual Safari Sevens in Kenya, and that never quite, well, it didn't go down well with the boys, because I was there, I covered the tournament, and I could remember we were just being beaten by, you know, anybody we faced. Brazil beat us, Portugal beat us, and Zambia beat us in the Shield final. So the boys just left empty-handed, and I don't know if it was the fact that, you know, we had was it an interim coach, Bronson Weir, who came from South Africa and disappeared all of a sudden?
Yes, he did come to last minute, you know, at the 11th hour, and he sort of threw a spanner in the works because Herbert Wafula had been handed this team. Let's not forget the fact that Tolbert Onyango had handled this team for a protracted period. All of a sudden, you know, because of work commitments, I think he had to go back to his native Kenya. And this team was entrusted to the care of Herbert Wafula. The union has some kind of understanding with Free State Rugby in South Africa, so they sent down Bronson Weir, and he came up with these different kind of plays, you know, that he wanted the team, you know, to take on at short notice. And when they went to Nairobi, you know, they just collapsed like a pack of cards.
Let's switch matters from Sevens rugby to the league, rugby league. We had a very dominant team, Awan Heathens RFC, winning the league and the cup.
Yeah, they did the league and cup double. It was the last season for Brian Tabaruka, their coach. Very important that they would send him off on a high. And that cup final, Joel, against Cobbs, what a cup final.
It was brutal.
Yes, it was brutal. And which player came on to decide that cup final?
Awan Philip.
Awan Philip or Korach. Very interesting. What a remarkable story, Cinderella story that panned out on that day.